Hello and welcome to the Unnamed Automotive Podcast. My name is Sami Hajjasad, and with me, as always, is my good friend and fellow automotive journalist, Benjamin Hunting. Say hi to the people, Ben.
Greetings, human listeners.
Greetings to everyone. If this is the first time you're listening to this podcast, thank you for trying something new. Ben and I are a pair of automotive journalists, but more important than that, we're very good friends. Like, that's a two-very statement.
We're good friends, but yet you never take me to Europe.
Do you want to come to Europe with me?
You know what? I don't know.
What the?
I want you to want to take me to Europe, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay, so what you're saying is it shouldn't be prompted by a conversation like this.
Yeah, it's I
need to think about it is what you want, rather than do it ask you spontaneity. Oh no, I'm having a stroke. Spontaneously. Oh, no. Ben is one of the automotive journalists that can be found all over the internet. Ben, plug a couple of the publications so that we can get on with the show.
You can find my work at Motor Trend, at Haggerty, and at driving.ca, and recently autotrader.ca.
And Ben is also working on a really cool graphic novel or a comic book, right?
That's right. ModelUNcomic.com. I have a Kickstarter there. It is about aliens that show up on Earth and mistake a group of Model UN club members at a high school for the actual United Nations. And then those kids are forced to negotiate the fate of the Earth over the course of one crazy weekend. Thanks to everyone who's already gotten in on the Kickstarter. It is at, I keep saying that word, ModelUNcomic.com.
Excellent. And you can find my work at autotrade.ca, but more recently, driving.ca and their YouTube channel, which I think is youtube.com/driving.ca. I'm not sure. I should probably know it if I'm going to plug it, but we'll go with that. Ben, I've been away for about 14 or 15 days. I was over there.
Felt like eternity.
It did feel like an eternity. I missed you and our listeners so much. But I had a really good time. I was out in Ireland visiting friends and family, as I guess people will start to learn a little bit more about my life in this process. My wife she grew up in Ireland, and she left all that behind to come and live with me. And every once in a while, we go back over there and see everybody again, which is good. I think that's part of the deal when you move sometimes. You want to see your friends again, don't you, Ben?
I pass on that question.
But you want to talk to them on the podcast again, right?
Pass on that question.
Oh, no. So while I was there, though, I linked up with automaker Jeep. You know Jeep, Jeep.
I've heard of them.
It's a fairly well-known brand here in North America, mostly due to the success of the Wrangler and the Grand Cherokee, and is probably one of the most successful parts of the Stellantis group, right?
Historically, Jeep has always been the most valuable part of any acquisition it was involved in.
That's right. That's because of the marketing associated with the Jeep, right? The products are fairly profitable, aren't they?
I would think so.
I would think so too. There's nothing they don't really push the envelope with their cars that we get in North America, but they get the job done. They're popular.
Well, what do you mean by push the envelope?
We're not talking about when we think about cars with high-end technology or features that are, killer apps. I think about a product like Super Cruise, for example, which is only found in GM products. It's a hands-free driving system that's offered on GM products. And I know that Stellantis was said to be working on one of these features, but I don't think it's come to fruition.
I would counter with the fact that the entire Wrangler is a killer app that
so that's what I'm trying to say.
Just the whole throws off crazy profits, and has no peers in the industry in terms of reputation.
Yeah, okay. So in terms of reputation, I think that's a really great place to put it, right? Like, the Jeep is known for the Wrangler. The Wrangler is like this icon of automotive power.
So where are you going with this? I'm starting to get really into the weeds here.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, I wanted to talk about Jeep because in other parts of the world, the Wrangler and the Jeep brand don't make as big of an impact. I'm talking specifically about Europe, where they don't have the Wrangler doesn't make a lot of sense in Europe because
why everything is paved.
Yeah, everything is paved.
That doesn't seem real.
I think it has to do with bringing over these American products over, and the size of the Wrangler and other Jeeps make them very difficult sells in North America. However, a few years ago, the automaker, the Stellantis Auto Group, introduced a new Jeep that is, as far as I can tell, a very European product. It's called the Avenger. I guess something that could be confused with a previous Dodge Avenger.
But that was never sold in Europe.
That was never sold in Europe either. But the Jeep Avenger is a tiny little car that's sold in a couple of different powertrain formats and is loose. I think uses the same platform as a couple of Peugeots or Citroens. So what I'm talking about particularly is what they would call a B segment compact crossover. I would say it's barely a crossover. I wouldn't even call it a crossover at all. This is a hatchback. It is tiny, it is teeny, and it featured, the one I drove was all electric. It features a 55 kilowatt hour battery, as well as a front wheel drive electric motor that made only 155 horsepower. Those are things that seem so anti-Jeep to me. You know, like those two items don't sound like what a Jeep would ever be in North America, right?
I don't know. I mean, there's been plenty of Jeeps with 150 horsepower or less, including the Wrangler for like really long stretches of its existence.
Not lately, though, right?
And I mean, how much horsepower was in the Renegade?
The Renegade had a sweet little turbo 4, didn't it?
That was one of its engines, but it also had the Tiger Shark. The Tiger Shark, remember that?
Tiger Shark was not good.
That's an engine that no one talks about.
Because we shouldn't talk about it.
But you give it a cool name and then you just banish it. Like, it seems odd.
The 2.4, that the Tiger Shark... Oh, the Tiger Shark is a 2.4. I'm trying to see how much it had, because that's a great point. 180 horsepower, man.
Also, front-wheel drive is standard on the current Compass or most recent Compass.
Yeah, I think that's also worth pointing out. I'm going to talk about the Compass in a minute. I want to get back to this Avenger.
All right.
The design of the Avenger is, I think, a really important selling part or selling feature of the car. I think it really makes this little Jeep stand out. It's a way of both being like honoring the Jeep staples, which is that it has that, you know, that, what is it? The pillared grille there, the 9-pillar grille or whatever, how many pillars it has. How many pillars does that grille have?
I think it's 7 slots.
7 slat. That's right. 7
slots.
Slat. I'm going to say slat.
Slot.
Yeah. Why? What's the difference between a slat and a slot?
I guess we're finding out right now.
Well,
the difference is one's right and the other's wrong.
I think because it's an electric vehicle, it's like a panel, and I'm going to call it a slat as a result.
I'm confused.
Yeah. Why?
So there's a gas powered version of the Avenger, right?
A mild, I think a hybrid or a mild hybrid version. They call it the 4xe,
and that one is all wheel drive.
That one is all wheel drive.
The EV is only front wheel drive.
That's right.
And the Compass, the new one that just came out, is the opposite of that. It is front wheel drive only for the gas.
Yeah.
And then the electric version, which is, I guess, coming, all-wheel drive.
Okay, let me get back to we're gonna get back to this. You brought up the Compass now twice. I need to. Yeah. Then I guess you want me to get to my point as soon as possible. The Jeep Avenger, in both this EV and hybrid form that's offered in Europe, has been a relative success for the brand, selling over 200,000 units in Europe since its introduction in 2023. Which, in my opinion, sounds like a success story. I like that idea.
Is that the EV or is it combined?
It's combined.
Okay.
And in addition to that, it was named the European Car of the Year in its first year and was even called by some publications, including Top Gear, Electric Car of the Year, Best Electric City Car, and Best Family SUV, which it probably should not have won. But overall, this seems like a very popular and successful product. And I just really wanted to give it a try. So I drove one of these electric Jeeps while I was there in Ireland. And I came away mildly impressed. Only because it's really difficult to contextualize these small EVs when we're so used to larger vehicles. And especially when it comes to EVs, vehicles that frequently have nearly twice the battery capacity as these things do. So let me be clear. With a 55 kilowatt hour battery, the European testing figures suggest that it can get about 400 kilometers of range, and I think that's probably achievable if you stay under like highway speeds. But the reality is, the way I drove it and put it on the highway fairly frequently, I was seeing closer to 300 kilometers of range, which isn't super competitive. But there are, we do live in a world where like there are 160 kilometer range EVs out there, like the Mini. I think the Mini had 160 when it came out.
CX-30.
The CX-30 had, or MX-30 had really limited range. I think there's a Fiat 500, which has a little bit more range. This felt a little bit better than that. So I was trying to say that, like, it didn't get me stranded. We got everywhere we needed to go, and we relied a lot on the public charging infrastructure in Ireland, which is a little bit lagging behind other European countries, including like France, Germany, and some of the more like Austria and what's the other one I'm thinking of? Norway. I mean, Norway has probably the best infrastructure maybe in the world, but
not part of the European Union.
Not famously. Part of the European Union. Yes. So I also noticed that the design was really striking. A lot of people that we visited and saw immediately noted the design of the car. They thought it looked really cool. I had a really bright yellow version of it. It was covered in Jeep badging and stripes. And like other Stellantis vehicles, it had a variety of Easter eggs found on the exterior design. Things like a kid with a telescope in the surround of the windshield.
Famously, something we all associate with Jeep.
Yeah. A little ladybug in
again
plastic molding on the roof.
Rodney Dangerfield, big Jeep associate.
Yes. And I think there was something else there, but I can't remember it right now. But overall, I think the design really spoke for itself. It was a car that made itself known. People obviously didn't think it was anything related to a Peugeot or a Citroën. It really had its own standout design. I want to bring up the Compass now, because the design of the Avenger was penned by a European design team of Jeep, which I don't think is common practice. You did point out, I think, the only other European themed Jeep that is out there, which is the Renegade. And the new Compass has been designed by the same team that did the Avenger. And it's really cool to see, the success story with the Avenger, and hopefully that will translate to the new Compass. We'll have to see when it comes, and whether or not we will even get a North Americanized version of the Compass.
So we are getting it. They're going to be building it in the United States at a plant in Illinois. It was supposed to be built in Brampton, and they've decided not to do that. And the Canadian government is probably going to sue them for that. But it's been delayed because of tariffs, and they've moved production to Illinois. So it might not be here as a 2026 model. I guess it depends on how fast they can get the factory's restarting in 2027. So that's how long we're going to have to wait.
Yeah. I liked it. I didn't see a single other one while I was on the road in Ireland, so maybe Ireland is not the right market for it. But I thought it was kind of cool. I'm trying to figure out what other things we would say. I think its highlights were its design, and it drove really well for a small, cheap car. Relatively cheap. It costs about 35,000 euro, which, I mean, I think that's probably the average price for a small car or small EV. And if you have any more questions about it, tell me.
Well, I think it's unique in the sense as well that it's the only EV produced by Jeep, right? By Stellantis. That and the Wagoneer S are the only two that they have. So they have the one in North America, and now they have two in Europe, if we're including the Compass as well. By the way, 35,000 euro is 56,000 Canadian dollars,
which is the average price of a new car here. So.
But you're also getting like smaller, a compact limited range EV, right?
You're getting something tiny.
That's the same price as an Ioniq 5 with all-wheel drive.
Without any of the incentives?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Impressive.
Very
so that's
similar.
why these things don't work here, obviously.
They would be
comparisons don't always work pricing wise, but I think,
no, because it could also be priced differently for this market. Like,
yeah, exactly.
There's other considerations.
What would a comparable? Let me see what they sell the Ioniq 5, for example, in Ireland 4, right?
I don't know. I don't think you're going to be able to find that.
I'm going to find it. What do you mean I won't be able to find it?
No, that information is not available.
Okay, keep going with me. Talk to me more here.
It's your car. I'll say the base price of an Ioniq 5 is $55,766, and that gets you rear wheel drive.
America?
In Canada.
In Canada.
I'm looking at it now, and that gets you the 63 kilowatt hour battery and rear wheel drive.
Okay.
So, but it's also a much larger vehicle.
I'm looking at the base price of an Ioniq 5 in Ireland, and it starts at 41,200 euro.
And what do you get with that? Like, what is the base model?
Drive 84 kilowatt hour battery.
So it has the extended.
Yeah.
So that's 66,000 Canadian.
Yeah.
Which lines up if you look at the Ioniq with the 84 kilowatt here is 58,000. Yeah. So it's a little bit cheaper.
Interesting, huh?
What's interesting is if you look at this is completely off topic. If you look at the Ioniq 5, the base model is $3,000, less than $3,000 cheaper than the one with the much bigger battery.
Yeah, yeah.
And more horsepower. So it's odd that the other one exists. I'm assuming it's there just for pricing reasons, but the pricing is so close.
Yeah, yeah. We've always said that, though, haven't we?
This includes delivery, by the way.
I think we've always said that the entry level model is like a dud. It's like just to get people into the door.
Well, some of them are, but
I doubt that some of them are like even sold. Are there really $60,000 Corvettes out there?
I don't think there's been a $60,000 Corvette in a long time.
Yeah, but that was like the starting price of them when they everyone said this was the starting price.
Back in the day when you wore an onion on your belt because it was a style at the time, maybe that's what it's cost. The base price for a Stingray right now is $70,000 US.
I don't think that exists. I still don't think even that one counts.
What do you think the most expensive Stingray is?
I know, it's like 250, isn't it?
No, the Stingray, not like the special models.
Oh.
No guess?
199.
With no options. With no options is 83,000.
Oh, sorry, just the regular trim version of it?
Yeah, the 3LT, the highest Corvette Stingray you can buy. You're thinking like Z06 and stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking of cool cars, I guess.
Wow. Anyway, anything else you want to say about this Jeep?
I really think it's cool to see what there's like how do we say this properly? Cars are this really universal thing where it provides us transportation and we get from point A to point B, and no matter where you go, there's also the added element of like identity with these cars. And I think that people buy cars based on, perceived identity or something like that. And I think that an American designed vehicle in Europe carries its own unique identity that will appeal to certain people. But
this isn't an American designed vehicle. No,
but it's like they try to take this is like a Jeep. Yeah, so like think of that concept, right? It's like they took the idea of what Jeep is here to us, Europeanized it, or globalized it.
Don't say that again.
Yeah, sorry. Globalized it and made a successful product with that design outcome.
Here's my question. Did they really do that? Or did they just take a Peugeot?
I'm looking at that Peugeot. It doesn't look a thing like this.
And give it different bodywork.
I think it doesn't look like these Peugeots at all.
Okay.
The 208 and the 2008. I don't.
What about the 3008 and the 5008?
Or the Opel
the Opel Grandland? Apparently, these are all using the STLA Medium platform, which is underneath the Jeep Compass.
Yeah. The CMP or the
STLA Medium?
STLA Medium. This is supposed to be using this STA Small.
No, I'm talking about the Compass.
Oh, the Compass. Let me look. I didn't look at those ones. Yes. Where is this? I can't find a 308.
3008.
3008.
Four numbers for some reason.
Here we are. What a wild looking car that is. No, man. This is I don't think it's related to
visually this just looks like a Grand Cherokee that's smaller.
What?
The Avenger
Compass or the Avenger, yeah,
and the Compass.
And this 3008 doesn't look a thing like that.
I'd say the Avenger.
The
Avenger has a lot of Renegade in it as well.
But the Renegade is not an attractive car. It's like
I think it looks fine.
It looks like a weird, stout little thing. It looks like a cube.
Would you rather have a Renegade or a 500X?
Yeah, okay, fine. If those are my options, I'd rather not. I'd rather walk. I'd rather take a bike.
Wow, I thought you said cars were universal, and now you're
cars are cool. Yes.
Now you're like, I'd rather
the
walk.
identity and the design that comes with them is also like a really important part of them. We buy a lot of cars based on what they look like and how they make you feel, and I think those things like go together in many ways. That's got to be true. You have to agree with me with this.
This is hilarious. So maybe the last thing we'll say about this Avenger.
Yeah.
So the Avenger is based on the same platform as the Fiat 600 and a vehicle called the Alfa Romeo Junior. I checked out the Alfa Romeo Junior. The story is Italian government forces Alfa Romeo to change name of Milano SUV to Junior.
Why?
I'm trying to figure that out. So apparently the industry's industry minister criticized Alfa Romeo for marketing a foreign-built car with an Italian name. Even though because it's built in Poland, a car called Milano cannot be produced in Poland, said the minister on Thursday. This is forbidden by Italian law. He's referring to a piece of legislation from 2003 that calls out, quote, Italian-sounding products that falsely claim to be produced in Italy. It misleads consumers.
Amazing.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
So the Milano,
is that a future story you're working on?
The Milano nameplate, it was a tribute to the city of Milan where Alfa Romeo got its start. Mm-hmm. And it's been used on many other vehicles for, over the years, right? But now it's called the Junior.
Yeah, take that.
What an odd choice. They're like, well, we can't call it Milano. What should we call it? How about something that has nothing to do with cars? The Junior. How do you market the Junior?
Yeah.
Like, who's buying the Junior? Would you buy a car called the Senior?
No, I don't think so.
I feel like Alfa Romeo really got screwed by their own minister of industry. This story is from 2024, by the way. So
you love that. That's a great story. Thank you for finding that for me.
Totally strange.
Okay, so I had some fun with this Avenger. What did you get to play around with while I was away?
Oh, lots of things, including guest host Chad Kirchner, who came in and did a fantastic job on the show.
What a rock star. Much better than me today, of course.
He was upset by not being able to work in as much Star Trek references as he wanted to, but there's always future opportunities for that, Chad.
Always.
I drove the 2025 Subaru WRX TS. That's a lot of consonants.
It's a lot of letters that you had to give me. But I think I'm following you because this isn't the first time a TS nameplate has shown up somewhere.
Yeah, so a long time ago, Subaru made a vehicle called the STI that was like super fun and track oriented and represented like the apex of their performance division. Mm-hmm. And then they forgot how to do that, seemingly. They decided we're not going to have STI anymore. We're just going to have regular WRX, even though the minute they made that decision, all of their competitors came out with like super hardcore. Suddenly we had the Type R after not having had the Type R for like 15 years. Then we had Hyundai comes out with N, which is like, Elantra on steroids.
Yeah.
And Golf R is still around and Golf R just keeps getting crazier, right? So WRX retreated from the battleground when everyone else was advancing. And that was, I want to say 6-7 years ago now.
Yeah. It's maybe even more.
We still don't have an STI. What we do have is essentially the same car we had 6 or 7 years ago from WRX that has a TS badge on it now, which, as Sami pointed out, we've talked about it in the past because it was attached to the BRZ.
Yeah.
And what the TS stands for is, and everyone knows this, of course, tuned by STI. If you're thinking,
it's like M Sport or AM or like the. Yeah, it's like N Sport or M Sport or whatever.
So it is like that. It is the
what do you call what do we call these names again?
What's that Kia off-road thing that's not really off
X-Line.
It's X-Line Pro and X-Line. This is just X-Line. So like
yeah, exactly.
If you were excited thinking that while I'm paying $50,000 for a WRX, I'm sure it has more horsepower. No.
No, sorry. Did you want under 300 horsepower? Because that's what you got.
The TS makes no meaningful or any mechanical upgrades to its drivetrain. You don't get a retuned turbo. You don't have a bigger turbo. You don't have retuned software. You have the same 271 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque that you would have in any other version of the WRX. What you do get are a lot of the features that would come with the WRX GT, which I believe is automatic only, Sammy. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
So there's some luxury gear in there. You also get some...
real luxury gear or just like...
No.
Yeah, you see what I mean? I hate it when that's like our go-to for when there's slightly more technology or like leather in a car.
I'm going to break down what you get with this car.
Yeah, do it for me.
Tire, shocks, seats, and brakes. So
that could have been a sweet wrap, but okay.
You get more aggressive tires,
seats, and brakes.
You get 6-piston brakes up front.
When you say more, we got to talk about. When you say more aggressive,
like a summer high performance tire.
So just something that won't work all year long. And
no tires should work all year long if you live in Canada and in large parts of the United States.
Okay, fine. Something that will wear out faster?
No, I'm not mad that the tires are there. But what I'm saying is each of those things
to replace.
Each of those things I just named, you can do in the aftermarket. There's nothing special about this car that comes exclusively from Subaru. Like say when the STI had its torque shifting center differential that you could control, the DCCD. There's nothing like that here.
No, totally not like useful, but really cool to just toggle around.
It's useful on a racetrack. It does allow you to change how the vehicle reacts to driver inputs. You're getting Recaro sports seats. You're getting adaptive shocks, which again, I believe were only available on the GT before. And now
wait. Aftermarket, changing your seats from the aftermarket is not a fun experience.
I mean, it's not impossible. Why do you say that?
It's not fun. It's just like, it's a pain in the butt.
It's just bolts. You just take the old bolts out and put the new bolts in. But
seats are hard to put in and out.
No, they're not.
Yeah. Okay.
No, they're not. Okay, Sammy. Well, since you feel that way,
yeah.
Do you think that tires, shocks, seats, and brakes are worth $10,000? Because that's what you pay. That's what you pay to get the TS.
No, thank you. Wait, the shocks though, that's got to be a big thing.
They're adaptive. That's cool. And they're attached to the selectable drive modes, which is again something you could only get on the GT trim.
That's so funny. Can I say that's really funny?
I just want to say, sorry, go on.
To me, the WRX was at its best, at its most simple form. You get a manual version of the base trim, and you're like, this car is tons of fun. It's really simple. It's got a great little shifter that like few other cars have. It sounds really like basic, but it's fun.
So you can still get that car. You can still walk into a Subaru dealership in the States, spend $38,000. In Canada, you would spend $40,000. Very, very similar amounts of money. Actually, much cheaper in Canada. And you get that car. You get that base manual transmission car. $10,000 more for the TS. It just doesn't work for me because I don't feel like the car is improved to the point where it competes with a Type R or an Elantra N in terms of fun. I think that they really needed more power for this car to justify the price. I think a $50,000 STI would knock things out of the park. Give us an actual special car because I'm going to tell you, the TS drives fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I didn't have a negative experience with it, but what I also didn't have was an experience that felt special enough to justify the extra cost.
Yeah.
It really feels like with each passing year,
Subaru misses this opportunity, right?
Well, they keep putting together these like parts bin special models that are
not special.
They take cool stuff that Subaru has available and they give it to the WRX, but it's never cohesive enough to push it over the crest of the mountain into true greatness. Like you're still driving a car that's wearing mods that you could have done yourself. And
it's worth pointing out, though, like the WRX and the WRX is not like shy to the aftermarket scene. I think most people who are familiar with the WRX know that there's a big aftermarket scene with it, and you can get anything you want for it, right?
It really feels like this is the Hallmark movie of WRXs at this point.
That's such a burn. Why did you have to take it there? That's so mean.
I would have settled for an ounce of personality from the car. I've owned multiple WRXs. I really like these cars. I just did not connect with this car. It's competent. It's relatively quick, although it's like a half second at least behind every other car at its price point and in its competitive set. So all those compact performance cars we mentioned, it just feels like a Hallmark movie depiction of a sports sedan in the past that never took the leap to the next life stage. It's like the WRX is like the older sibling that stayed in their hometown to take over the family business. And all the other sports sedans went into the city and they became who they could be. And they came home with like all this crazy horsepower and technology.
Yep.
And WRX is still there at the Christmas tree farm being like, well, you know, it's an honest living.
There used to be a time when I was going to make it big, man. I was a rally champion back in the day.
I had all the ingredients.
Okay, let's be clear here. When it comes to the compact hot hatch segment,
not just hatch, this is not a hatch.
Sorry, compact sports sedan segment. The Elantra N, which is not only cheaper,
but faster
and more fun.
Yes.
Has tons of personality.
Yes.
Is always the better pick when you're on a budget, right?
And I want to say it's faster even though it's front wheel drive.
Which is crazy, yeah. It's like the better pick in this segment.
It's $6,500 cheaper in Canada. That is more than 10%.
That's actually useful. Yeah, that's an actual useful amount cheaper.
So the Type R and the Golf R are $5,000 more, but you are getting a lot more. Again,
at least 300 horsepower.
I think if there was a $55,000 STI, that would be amazing. I would not be having this same conversation. I'm just saying, like, the WRX is very good for what it is, but when you try to make it something it's not, it falls down in the face of the competition. If I was driving the base model, I would have been much happier with this car.
Those other cars that are $50,000 or more, Civic Type R, Golf R, GR Corolla.
I didn't even think about the GR Corolla. Like, that did not even enter into this, but you're right.
Have this, like, they have a lot of really cool technology, I need to point out. They have, like, trick differentials. They have...
The same trick differential you were making fun of with Subaru earlier?
Uh,
You're like, no one needs that, except when I want to highlight it.
They have trick differentials. They have really cool suspension systems or automatic transmissions. They have a lot of like tech that makes them not only like high performance, not only fun to drive, but really high performance.
It also separates them from other models, right?
Yes, yeah. But Subaru, I think, struggles in this part of making the leap to an STI right now. The STI was really good, but it was simple. Remember the old, like, you drove, I think, the last special WRX STI.
The S209.
Oh, there might have been a new one after that. But yeah, you drove an S209.
I think it was an S209.
Which was these were practically hand-built. But they were still, like, the simplest kind of cars. Tons of power, like a really robust all-wheel drive system, and stiff suspension, right?
Yeah, and again, the differentials, which is like not nothing. You know, that was the secret sauce.
But now everyone has that, and Subaru doesn't know how to make the leap to the next generation of.
Well, that's what I just said. This is when I was doing my Hallmark thing. I wasn't just joking about that. It's like this: the WRX feels like a car that's left behind, and it feels even more left behind when you compare it to cars that should be compared to the STI. And when you price the WRX to be like an STI, but don't give it the STI's qualities. Like, I can't recommend this car. I can recommend other versions of the WRX.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and honestly, crazy lease deals on the WRX. You can get really affordable. So there's no reason to not buy a WRX, but I don't think you should spend more for the TS. Even if you're like a dedicated track person and you are going to put in all those extra features that I mentioned, you're probably going to want to pick your own tires. You're probably going to want to pick your own brakes. And yeah, maybe it's expensive to get 6-piston Brembo calipers on the aftermarket. You know, like that might be hard. And adaptive shock absorbers, if you're a track person, you don't need that. If you're a track person, you're going to have your own shocks that are going to be tuned to the track. Unless you're driving to the track, which you might be, in which case you do want that kind of compromise. But all I'm saying is there's not enough special sauce here, and there's not $10,000 worth of special sauce. And I am still a Subaru owner and have been for a long time. Like there's been a Subaru in the fleet continuously for like probably a decade now. And I just wish they could reach their full potential with this model.
All I'm saying is it seems like Subaru's struggling on making that leap performance-wise. They don't have anything right now that will give them a leap of power, and no one knows where that's coming from, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't have, like... they don't have fancy turbos. They don't have a newer all-wheel drive system that will really turn things up a notch. They don't have anything in the pipeline that seems to suggest that they're going to make a hotter car.
Well, we talked in the past about how STI is no longer really the focus in terms of Subaru. When you look at, like, if you have a brand and you have a brand like Subaru has sub brands, right?
Yep.
STI for a very long time was a flagship, but I think that Wilderness is now the flagship for Subaru.
Right.
That's where they're putting their energy. That's working for them. They're selling these vehicles. And ultimately, when you're a company, it's about what you're able to do economically. And economically, SUVs make the most sense, and off-road SUVs are what everyone has been convinced they want now.
I hate that.
So, like, that's what's out there.
Okay, there's one more thing you wanted to talk about on today's episode.
Yes.
And I'm eager to talk about it as well.
So
Something
this is-
crazy happened to
Sorry.
a company that didn't deserve it or shouldn't have had it happen.
We're not going to
them.
get into the morality of it.
Oh,
but,
yes, the morality of it.
But this is one of the biggest news stories in the auto industry that people are just completely glossing over. So back in, I want to say August, was it August, Sammy? Someone hacked JLR, Jaguar Land Rover. And when we say hacked, they shut down all of their production for like a month, maybe more.
Maybe more.
Jaguar has not been building cars. I mean, we knew that. Land Rover has not been building cars. They've not been exporting cars. And over that period of time, 1.9 billion pounds worth of damage has been done to the economy and Jaguar itself because of this. Because there's 5,000 businesses attached to providing Jaguar with parts and services and whatnot that are affected by the complete shutdown of all of their facilities around the world. It's apparently the most economically damaging cyber event in UK history, according to the BBC.
Yeah. This is a very serious thing. I mean, they say that JLR produces about 1,000 vehicles per day across all of its facilities. I don't know if that's true. That seems
there's
like a
5
really high
plants,
number.
so that seems possible.
That's a high number. But at the same time, JLR did not need this problem. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, as we mentioned, Jaguar, not really making cars right now.
Yeah.
They're owned by Tata, which is a huge company, but you can only absorb so many billions before like
loss. Yeah.
things get really bad.
My understanding is I don't quite understand if the attack is what caused the shutdown, or they shut down as a result of the attack.
I think the attack caused the shutdown, and I think what happened was
wild.
it was like, I think they might have been trying to hold them for ransom.
Yeah.
It was in any case, it's a really bad thing. It's a really big deal. Try to imagine any car company just being out of business for 5 weeks. It feels like Jaguar Land Rover is the one company where this could happen and we wouldn't know about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. No one's really like worried about this. It seems, except for the actual people working
I'm
there.
seeing talk about ransomware, so that kind of looks like how it went down. But they've had the company had to put up short-term financing to like keep its suppliers afloat. Because if your job is to supply Jaguar's not buying from you. Let's say you go out of business. When Jaguar starts back up, they won't be able to build cars. Right? Like, so it becomes a very complex web of cash at that point. Anyway, it's insane. I mean, let's think about this for a second. How many other companies out there could be facing something similar? Like, how long before it's an airline? You know, can you imagine if Delta couldn't fly for 5 weeks?
Yeah, that's the end of the company.
Pretty much.
I mean, there was, how long did so many of these shutdowns happen during COVID, during 2020? But I guess there was a lot of loans that went around to try to help keep things.
But at the same time, those shutdowns weren't like the whole economy was shut down, right? Like,
exactly.
So Jaguar is just like on the sidelines while all of its competitors. Oops, all cyber attacks. Anyway, I just thought that was nuts. I wanted to bring it up because I haven't heard anyone really talking about it. There are outlets that are covering it, but I feel like this is front page news.
It's worth pointing out that that Tata Consultancy Services, which is apparently the name given to the ownership group here, the computer systems that are part of this hack, or JLR uses, TCS, was also hacked this year at Marks and Spencer's in Co-op. So it seems like that's really the main issue. This TCS, this Tata Consultancy Services, which JLR used for their computer services, just was a vector from all of these other things that TCS had under this.
So you're saying there's an opportunity here to step in and
yeah,
pick up a new client.
We should consider it. But that means there's been 4 arrests made so far, and still though,
how many arrests is enough for you?
Yeah, how many? Well, whatever.
Where does your bloodlust take you?
Whatever gets these systems back up and running. The question, of course, is how much longer do they have to weather this?
Well, I don't know if they're back or not.
Yeah, I don't think
it's not clear. Oh, so here we go. JLR managed a limited restart in October, but they don't know when full operations will resume.
That's not a good sign.
So this is an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
The UK government has loaned them $2 billion. Never a good sign.
Not good.
They were losing $61 million a week during the shutdown. So like
Wild.
that's... Anyway, Sami, if people want to hear more about what we've talked about in the past, if they want to hear more about cars that aren't Jaguar, Land Rover, or WRXs or cheap Avengers, how can they do that?
They can head on over to our website, unnamedautomotivepodcast.com. While you're there, you'll find all of our previous episodes. There's also a way to subscribe to our podcast, but we really recommend you just go on your podcast client or your podcatcher, and search for us, Unnamed Automotive Podcast, and subscribe to us. It's a really good idea. You'll catch all of our newest episodes. We try to put one out weekly, although sometimes we go on vacation, I go on vacation, and I can't publish things while I'm away.
Listen to these excuses. All these vacations. What a burden.
The other thing you can do when you come on over to our website is you can fill out a contact form. Let us know what's on your mind. We really appreciate it. We love getting feedback. We love getting your questions, I think is maybe our favorite thing that we do. And we usually bring them up on the next available episode we record. So send us questions. You can also email us. It's benjamin@benjaminhunting.com, or you can find us on social media. Ben and I both are on Instagram. I'm at Sami_ha, like you're laughing, H-A. And Ben is at Hunting Benjamin.
Sami, what are you going to be talking about next week?
Speaking of JLR, I'm driving a very fancy JLR. Maybe the cyber attack has allowed me to get into their press booking situation, because I'm driving a Range Rover Sport SV Edition 2, which is a very fancy car with a lot of performance and makes a lot of noise.
I think you just used your elite hacking skills to cut through the ice that was keeping you locked out of that ignition system.
I agree. I think that's exactly what happened.
I'm going to be talking about the Chevrolet Blazer SS.
What on earth is that?
It's a EV.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I forgot what the Blazer was for a minute.
Wow. You really have been gone. Maybe if the Blazer was like a Fiat-based Jeep badged SUV, you'd be more familiar with it.
I'd be all over it, of course. Okay, Blazer SS. That's got to be fun. Okay, cool. Let's talk about performance cars next week.
All right. Thank you for listening, everybody.
See you later. Bye.